Well, good morning, folks, and welcome to another episode of Papa Keith's Kitchen. Let's say hello out there to Kim and Wesley, if you're watching. Today I'm going to make some of my famous chocolate chip cookies. Got quite a lot of ingredients here. This is for a double batch, but if you're making a single batch of this stuff, you probably want to add 2¼ cups of flour. That's 270 grams. 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. You want 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 3/4 cups of light brown sugar. And I'm going to need an egg, room temperature if you can do it. And I've got some vanilla. That is a tablespoon. And I've got a tablespoon of pure Vermont maple syrup, just to add the kick. And you can't forget these chips here, because that's the most important part, I think. Well, anyway, the first thing to do is to beat up these ingredients here, the butter and the sugars. That's going to take a few minutes for that. So we're going to add my brown sugar. I'm going to add my regular sugar. And I actually need 1 more cup of that sugar. Mine's a double batch, so we'll add another cup. Make it nice and sweet. There, get that in there. Get the cover back on. Keep out the mosquitoes. And we're going to add my maple syrup. Sticky but good. Then I'm going to add my vanilla extract. Going to add my baking soda. Sometimes I measure with my hands. I can do just good with my hands I can with after a while you get that way. You know how much you're putting in. Next is the salt. Now I'm going to add my eggs. When I was in the service, I had to work a lot with dehydrated foods because I was out to sea so long at a time. Sometimes I'd be gone from a port for 3 or 4 months at a time. So fresh supplies were hard to come by. So we had dehydrated eggs, dehydrated milk, vegetables, you name it. Everything was just dehydrated. Of course, we'd use up our fresh stuff first, and then we'd get into the dehydrated stuff. And actually, it ain't half bad if you got a dehydrator. To me, you can't hardly tell the difference. But you can with them eggs. For some reason, fresh eggs are a lot better than them dehydrated ones. Put that aside. We got the vanilla, so we'll clear the table of them. We want to end up adding stuff again. So the next thing I got to do, put in my butter. Which I'm putting in 4 because it's a double batch. Okay. So all that's going to leave is your flour, which we're not going to put in just yet. We'll incorporate that in after we get this mixed. Start her off on slow. You don't want to get it all over your face. Oh, it'd be good to lick off, wouldn't it? You want kind of a creamy mixture. To incorporate all of this, it's going to take about 5 minutes to get it nice and creamy. My mother used to make these, and oh boy, those were good. That woman could cook, I'll tell you that. There was a lot of spoon licking around our house, so we stood around there until she handed us the beater egg, then she'd let us lick the beaters off. You haven't been a kid until you lick the beaters, I'll tell you that. Just don't try to lick it off when it's running in the machine. It could hurt. I'm going to scrape that down a little bit. Get the butter out of the spin paddle. My doohickey, or whatever it's called. I'll get used to that. Spatula. Doohickey sounds better, I think, though. Oh, yeah. It's going to be good. Good. Now, I always put in extra chocolate chips when I put them in there because it just makes it a lot more fudgier, you know? Got it up on medium, giving it a good whipping. We're going to cook these at, about 375. A lot of ovens vary, you know, on their heat and stuff. The best thing to do is, if you want to find out what yours is at, is get one of those thermometers and put in there, and when you're at that heat that says it is, look at it and see if it's right. If it's high, then you know you've got to adjust your heat. Same if it's low, then you'll want to put it up the next notch higher to get it up to the right temperature. And usually cook them 10-12 minutes, somewhere in there. I don't like them burn on the bottom. I don't know about you. I kind of like them just a golden brown, but sometimes that's hard to do. But still edible, I'll tell you that. I'm going to put it in 3rd gear. You want it to look like that fluffy look, you know? It's getting there. Just make sure there's no sugar stuck to the bottom because you don't want that. Shut that down a little bit. Now I'm going to add the morsels. Just because I can, I'm going to add a few more. I hadn't seen anybody yet that told me I had too many chocolate chips. I don't like the ones you make and you find just one chocolate chip in the whole cookie. These are the small ones, so they mix in pretty good. So that's about 3/4 a cup. That should be plenty. Well, I'm going to feed these to my grandkids on the holidays and send them home to their mother. Oh, they're going to love me. Not so much the mother, though. Sometimes they have to sneak cookies when they're around me, but... Scrape that off a little bit again. Now I'm going to add some of my flour. Don't put it all in at once. Just see how she's going and how she looks. I've got about half of it right there. Slow here. That's why you don't want to put it all in. It likes to jump back at you on the side. You wouldn't be a baker unless you were covered in flour anyway. Time to scrape it down again. May seem like a lot of scraping and stuff, but you want to, it helps incorporate everything together to make a good cookie dough. Oh, look at them chips. Wow. Getting yummy looking at them. Here we go. A little more. All right, let's see what that does. Of course, in the military, their pots here are about the size of big kettles, you know. You didn't have to worry about stuff coming back at you. Plus, they had covers on them too, so. If I made a batch of bread, I'd usually dump in 500 pounds of flour, 30 pounds of salt, 60 ounces of shortening, and 3 pounds of yeast. Then it looked like a big cement mixer. It kept chewing it around and around and around. And after it settled down in there, I'd give it another kick. And the third time, I put it onto a conveyor that when it came out, and it cut the dough slices right into the right width of or the weight, or whatever you want to call it. But it had a circular thing, so it was kind of kneading it as it was going down the thing. It's kind of cool. But when you had 6,000 people to feed, you know, that takes more than one loaf of bread. Those service guys get awfully hungry. But they ate good. Had a lot of friends when I worked in the bake shop. You know why, don't you? But I never had to wait in line to get a haircut or get my paycheck or anything else. They'd just say, hey, Cookie, come to the front of the line. Same with going to shore. I'd get on one of them shore boats and I'd jump ahead of the lieutenants. They say, who the hell is he? He said, he's the Cookie. So, oh, okay. Of course, it might have cost me a few cookies for it, but Alright, I need just a dab more of this so I can work it a little bit. And the rest of it I'll leave for the top there. I just like getting covered with that flour. All right. Put my flour down there. Ooh, that stuff looks good. That should make quite a few cookies, shouldn't it? Weren't on camera, I'd lick that off, but I don't want you to see me. All right. See how that batter looks? Not bad, huh? Get the rest of that out of there. You want to keep your hands a little bit powdered when you're rolling these up so they don't stick to your hands. And roll them into little balls. And if you want the cookie bigger, make a big ball. Make your balls bigger. Yeah, I got most of it out of there. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this down, but I'm going to make all these, put them on a sheet pan. I'm going to put that parch paper down on the bottom so they can slide off pretty easy. And we'll see how many of these I can make. And at the end of the day, whenever I get done, I'll come back on and show you what they look like. If they look bad, I probably won't be back. So, thank you for watching Papa Keith's Kitchen. Later. Well, got all those cookies made. Yep, all boxed up for stocking stuffers. There are 4 to each box. Ought to make some pretty good eating for them. I'm going to try not to eat those, but who knows what happens before the end of the day. I did eat some of the batter, like I said I was going to. And I put a little label on it. Put a little Christmas tree. Oh well, we'll see how this goes. Catch y'all later.